Okay, so the other day I just got back from seeing a Marvel sequel, and surprisingly or not, it wasn't Ant-Man or Guardians of the Galaxy. No, this was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Part 1-ish, I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, I like to apologize for the seemingly lack of any kind of movie reviews the past several months or even a year or so. It's just that university work and doing the normal Arac reviews, it's kind of eating up my time a bit. So I never really got myself spend myself much to actually do one of the kind of brief thoughts on movies and such. But here I am now, especially in the summer. So here we are. Before I get into this movie, though, I want to go a bit into some of the films and movies that I have seen so far across this year of 2023. Firstly, there was Cocaine Bear, which, as you can imagine, was such a title and a premise as it is, especially when it's supposedly based on true stories. Loosely, I could not resist checking it out, and yeah, it may not go all the way with its premise, but what it does go the way with, it can succeed. So if you're in it for like a big budget, like kind of B movie thing, like something you see on like Sci-Fi Channel, something you see The Asylum or some other low budget movie studio makes, I'd recommend checking that out if you can. Then there was the Evil Dead Rise, which, as someone who's a bit of a fan of horror and comedy, I thought this one was fine. I watched it with my mother, who's upstairs, probably sleeping or doing something, but we kind of had fun with it. It had a few scares in it, but we kind of enjoyed it as it is. In terms of Evil Dead movies, I probably think the original three are definitely the classics. Um, then there was the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, I can admit, when I first heard about this idea, I was kind of skeptical as well. Like, Illuminate the guys that brought Despicable Me, Minions, and those two mediocre Dr. Seuss movies, the animated Grinch film with Benedict Cumberbatch and the Lords of Danny DeVito, doing a Mario movie. How is that gonna work? But to my surprise, that might have been one of the best video game movies in a while, alongside the two Sonic movies from Paramount. I'm kind of impressed we're kind of in a new age of video game movies. I'm between those and I'd say whew, I don't know. I don't know. I forgot what other video game shows and movies were done, but Detective Pikachu. Between those three and hopefully others, I think we're definitely getting video game movies right, and hopefully Disney will actually get around to getting us a Kingdom Hearts movie or video game or TV show or whatever. So yeah, those were some of the films that I can remember actually recall seeing this year. And then we come to this one, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, to sum up, I want to also give thoughts on the first movie, Into the Spider-Verse. I thought it was pretty good too. I can agree on it being one of the best Spider-Man movies ever, as well as one of the best animated films of recent years, and possibly one of the best Marvel superhero movies of recent years that isn't part of the MCU necessarily. So, hearing that sequel was being made quite soon, it was quite a high bar to go on. It was quite a hype for it, especially after like waiting like 4.5 years, and finally actually managing to see it, especially in the full. It was almost a full house in the screening I was in. So yeah, it was quite worth the wait. Uh, it doesn't just rehash without giving too much spoilers or giving too much of the plot. It adds to the first movie, especially with its premise of multiple universes and multiple iterations of this classic beloved superhero, without necessarily just rehashing just all the stuff from the first. It adds and develops from there, both its worlds, its actions, and its characters. And it even ups the visuals. Like, I know, even though it's obviously all 3D computer animated, a lot of it feels like it was very painted. It's a very graffiti looking movie, which, given some of the characters and themes and contents of it's kind of fitting. Every shot in it has some kind of blaze of color. It's a very colorful movie, and I think it helps in fitting in the various characters and the moods. And if you're a spider geek, whether you grew up with the classic comics, watched any of the TV shows, or even seen some of the previous live action movies like the Sam Raimi or the Mark Webb's, you'll definitely catch some little cameos or little Easter eggs every now and then. It's like a big game of Where's Wally. Like you can pick which Spider-Man or Spider-Woman girl, boy is that supposed to be, or guess which version that one is, or guess which TV show or movie that one's supposed to be based around, and so on and so forth. And even kind of, and like the first movie, I think, it kind of revitalizes some obscure, some lesser-known Spider-Man adversaries. Like, a major antagonist in this film is the character of Spot. Now, they even kind of joke around for a bit, and being a kind of multiversy Marvel thing, they are kind of a bit self-aware on it and kind of play into that. They kind of play off the Spot characters, kind of, at first it kind of make him this incompetent baddie, like the villain of the week, as they put it. But over time, they generally build him up as a legit threat, because his key ability is kind of opening up these black splodges, these black holes that can poke, kind of sneak through and kind of leap into other dimensions or even other universes. And being the theme of these movies is traveling from one universe to another, they definitely take advantage of that, and they definitely make him a legit threat, even when his motives are kind of sympathetic in a way. And another heart of the story is the relationship between Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy, because they've developed quite a kinship in the first movie, and they kind of develop it from there, even though they're from two different worlds, two different entire Earths. You do feel like they just want to fight together, just have fun together, find crimes, great powers and great responsibilities, all that. But the natures of their world and the natures of their origins, and having to stick to the canon events, they actually bring up canon events and stuff. You really feel for them. You really kind of feel a lot of empathy for them. And some of the other characters, like Miguel O'Hara or Spider-Man 2099, you can understand his beliefs and motivations. He wants to maintain order for the entire Marvel multiverse, even when it comes at great cost, even when it goes against other people's wants and wishes, including Miles, who I guess he kind of wants to prevent people from getting hurt, or even close people from getting hurt. But Miguel often says it's kind of, sometimes it's part of being a hero. You gotta make sacrifices and stuff, and sometimes some people just die and it's beyond our control, even with superpowers. And I think Spidey fans, and even casual comic book or movie fans can kind of feel for that as well. So yeah, I know my kind of thoughts are all over the place, but then again, this is quite a big, high scale movie. Now then, whether it's perfect or not, I'll leave that to you, because the way this movie ends out, the way it kind of resolves, it's either going to make this movie or it's going to break it for you. I'll leave that to your thoughts. Me personally, I kind of, just knowing that there is going to be another part to it soon by the next year or so, I am still kind of hopeful that, just not to give too much away, but it is kind of one of those two-parter movies like Deathly Hallows, Breaking Dawn, At World's End, and Dead Man's Chest, Matrix Revolutions, and of course Infinity War and Endgame. So it's been kind of a trend for a while, like having the finale of a series or kind of the sequel of the series kind of being two parts and such. But whether that's kind of whether you mind that or not, it kind of depends on your like expectations, your standards, and all that other stuff. Me personally, it doesn't bother me as much because there is still a sense of hope and kind of excitement, because our heroes are going to unite to kind of save the day. Both the various spider people from this movie and those from the previous movies, they kind of have a bit of a cameo. I think one of them has a bit of a cameo in it, including one of my little favorites, Penny Parker, because she's just an adorable little thing. I wish she had a bigger part in this, but I think she had a little appearance at some point in the third-ish act of this movie, but eventually kind of appears by the end, united with all these other people to kind of save our main hero. So again, I'm trying not to give too much away, trying to avoid spoilers, because this film had just came out like just yesterday, and I just saw it, so I'm kind of trying to lay out as much as what I can remember as possible, as coherently as possible. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it as is. I thought it was pretty good. I'll leave it to you to decide whether you want to enjoy it or you think it's the best Spider-Man sequel out there. But yeah, I look forward to Beyond the Spider-Verse next year. And yeah, I've finally managed to do another one of these movie reviews then, as myself. Hopefully next time I do these kind of movie reviews, because I'm planning to do another sequel to a movie that we waited 4.5 years for. And it's going to be More Than Meets the Eye. So, I hope to see you then. I'm still working on my Maniac reviews, including the one I'm trying to hope for to bring out later this weekend or later by the next week. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to enjoy the movie, check it out. Take care.